Good morning and welcome to the Piccalillian Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Hey guys, the playoffs are just 1 week away in most leagues, and we are here to help you get to your championship. I'm your host, Fantasy Insider Matt Lowry, and alongside me are 25-year fantasy veterans Henry the Commish Brick and the Professor Steve Wynn. As always, we are here for you, covering all the news and injuries around the NFL and how that affects your team. We'll help you get ready for the playoffs. We have players to start, and as always, we'll be taking your calls all show long. You need any lineup help? Hey, again, playoffs next week. You're cusping on that wild card spot. Give us a call. The number is 609-573-ESPN. That's 609-573-3776, and we'll do all the work for you. Commish, welcome to Week 13, and I hear you got some big news for us.
That's right, Matt. We're going to be at the Piccalillian on Route 206 in Chemung, New Jersey for an awesome bonfire event as we watch the Eagles-Dallas game tonight on the big 30-foot outdoor screen. We're going to be having cornhole tournaments, drinking ice-cold beer, eating world-class wings, all while we get to talk fantasy football with our fans.
You know, Commish, I'm going to be there tonight, and I'm not wearing my green. I'm wearing my black.
I blame you.
I'm going to read a little eulogy to the Eagles, and if anybody wants to come to the pick and shave off their Andy Reid walrus mustache and commit it to the bonfire, I will buy them a $25 or a 25-piece platter of wings.
Wow!
As far as the show and us, it is grudge match time at the bonfire. I'm playing you guys in our big money league, and interesting stat, if we played head-to-head every week, it'd be 6 wins for you guys, 6 wins for me. Our difference in total points is 6 points. It is a very, very close and tight rivalry here, matchup. Yeah. So I need to win to get in the playoffs because I am the unluckiest guy in the world. But
well, yes, you are.
You said if we played week to week, we would be 6-6, both of us. But what are you and what are we?
You guys are 7-5. I am 6-6.
Oh,
so, you guys got the luck of the matchups. I got a team that I have outscored by 200 points, and they are a game better than you guys, I believe. So fun stuff. So I'm a little tortured there. Winning, cranking in our staff league though. So I'm feeling pretty good about the playoffs there.
And how much money does the staff league get you?
It gets me a nice trophy from iwonmyleague.com, one of our sponsors, and bragging rights.
And bragging rights. Well, those bragging rights are really good. I mean, it's great you got some bragging rights. All right, guys. Well, before we get into the news around the NFL, let's go ahead and go to the phone lines. We got Eric and Absecon on the phone. Eric, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, what do you got?
I have a flex question for today. I have a touchdown-based league with no fractional points, and I need to start one more running back between Mikel LaSure, Bryce Brown, or Marshawn Lynch.
Well, I know LaSure's a little banged up going into today, so I definitely watched that injury report going in, last minute. Bryce Brown, of course, had that awesome game last week, but Dallas does have a little bit of a decent run defense, so I'm probably going beast here against Chicago.
Yeah, I got it as a coin flip, but I'm going to agree. I think that that Lynch is a better play, but Bryce has got some nice upside.
All right.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate the help.
There
you got it, man.
And Kabish, you play in a touchdown-only league. I have to say, I can't do that. That is just absolutely brutal. That the guy could run for 110, 120 yards and get you nothing.
You're talking about like a Matt Forte, like exactly. I know. We have him, and he runs up and down the 20s, and then when it comes time to score, they put Bush in. So yeah, touchdown only league. You got to look at those. You got to look at players a whole lot differently than you do in your regular standard formats. It's makes it real interesting. Makes you look at fantasy another way, which is so cool about fantasy football. There's no one way of doing it. There's all different ways leagues are set up, so it's pretty cool.
All right, good stuff. Let's go back to the phone lines. We got Frank from Philly on the phone. Frank, welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. How you doing?
Great, Frank. Morning.
Good.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions for you. One question is Stafford or RG3 for my quarterback.
Wow.
And my second question I have is, do you gentlemen ever play matchups, or do you always play your best player? Because Ray Rice has really been killing me this year. He's just been average at best. Where I drafted him my first pick, and he hasn't really.
Yeah, and he's averaging about 15 carries a game, which is killing us. I know I have him in a couple of my leagues myself, and Who else do you have at running back?
Well, the option I have, I even usually play. I have Charles, which I usually play him.
Right.
And I also have Mike LaShore, and I have Green Ellis. I mean, I'm tempted to bench. I'm going to play Charles because Carolina's bad defense, but I was thinking of whether I should play LaShore or LaShore today against the Colts.
I'm gonna take the easy question first and say RG3 over Stafford before we get into the matchup discussion.
Okay.
I do like
Thank
that quite a bit. The matchup. Giants defensive backs are nothing great. As far as the matchups, Rice at the beginning of the season, you had to play him. You have to play your studs, top 5 guy, all that stuff. But as the season has worn on, there are weeks when Green Ellis has had a far better matchup. Charles has had a far better matchup. LaShore is injured now. But if he's not elite, you have to look at what your other options are. I have benched mid-level guys that weren't going to knock it out of the park.
What would you do this week with the guys that he has?
I'd start Rice this week over Green Ellis. Pittsburgh's defense is starting to fall apart. I think they're going to be a tough road for them for the rest of the season. And Ray Rice's problem hasn't been Ray Rice; it's been the fact that their defense fell apart, and they've got to rely more on the passing game. So they get away from that run and stuff.
Yeah, and as you get actually, also as you get longer into the year with the weather starting to change, you're going to see the running backs actually pick up a little, and I think that's going to be good news for Rice. And I do like the matchup at home against Pittsburgh with the other options that you have. And I agree with the Professor. RG3 definitely the play, absolutely a top stud quarterback almost every week.
Real quick, actually, Rice won me league last week. I got 2 extra field goals out of my kicker because of that run he made last week. So.
Nice.
Great stuff.
Good stuff.
All right. Thanks a lot, gentlemen. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Good luck today, man.
All right, and if you got any questions, you need any lineup help, give us a call. The number again, 609-573-ESPN. That's 609-573-3776. We will be more than happy to help you get to a championship. Playoffs are only a week away in most leagues, and so you got to start now. All right, let's get into some news and injuries going around the NFL. Commish, what do you got for us?
Looks like Eagles starting quarterback Michael Vick out again this week with a concussion. Is it really the concussion, or do they really want to just keep looking at Nick Foles? I don't know, but Nick Foles will get the start again tonight.
Are we gambling on, is there any shot Vick will be on this team next year?
No.
I don't think so.
Nobody will take that. Okay.
Yeah.
No way. Okay, Ben Roethlisberger's out. Byron Leftwich is out. He's doubtful to play. Charlie Batch will probably start. The Eagles or the Steelers' postseason hopes are going up in smoke. Something happens to Charlie Batch, they got Matt on the speed dial. He will get on a plane.
That's right. I can be there real quick. We're right down the road.
Looks like DeMarco Murray actually practiced this week and is considered questionable to play. So Felix Jones not practicing a lot of the week. If either of these two can't go, look for Lance Dunbar to get the start today.
I have to ask one. Well, what is this we're playing?
This is the earworm of the '80s. A little respect by erasure. I'm torturing our listeners. Anybody that is over 35 years old will have this song in their head for the rest of the day.
So, I love it.
Okay, LaShawn McCoy is out with a concussion. Everybody is aware of that. It is possible they shelve him for the rest of the season. Bryce Brown will get to start again today. I think that the defenses will be a little more ready for him than they were last week. Don't expect the number one running back output, but he has some skills. Get him in your lineup.
Yes, he does. Kendall Hunter placed on IR last week. Brandon Jacobs will probably actually finally see him a little bit. Will handle the number 2 role behind Frank Gore. We also may see a little bit of Michael James. So make sure you adjust your lineups if you have any one of those guys.
Andre Brown from the Giants is on the IR with a broken foot. David Wilson will back up Bradshaw, and they have a very favorable playoff schedule against the run. Get Wilson if he's out on your waiver wire.
And, of course, MJD still out again this week with the sprained foot. Backup Jalen Parmalee placed on IR, so Rashad Jennings gets another shot at filling the void where MJD is left.
Yeah, Rashad Jennings is great for transaction fees in leagues this year. Picked up, drop, picked up, drop, picked up, drop.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael LaShore, we mentioned him on that first call. He did not practice this week. He is questionable for today. Backups Joyquay Bell and Kevin Smith will fill in if LaShore can't play. I like Bell this week. I think he's a decent reach.
Raiders starting running back Darren McFadden finally saw some practices this week and looks like he may go, although he's still considered questionable. Check that last-minute injury report before you decide on him today.
Okay, did I get all the Eagle injuries? Deshaun Jackson is placed on IR with broken ribs. Veteran wide receiver Jason Avant is listed as Jackson's backup, but Damaris Johnson is an intriguing young player. We'll see some time on the field. That's a little bit of timing and chemistry.
Do the Eagles have any starters left? I mean,
it was in the preseason.
I might be going to the Eagles. They're even closer than.
Everyone loved Nick Foles in the preseason, even though he was playing with the second stringers. They're just giving him the second stringers on the field
where he's really comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. Greg Jennings, who had the sports hernia surgery, practiced and is expected to play today. He'll probably be on the snap count.
Rob Gronkowski didn't practice this week. Yes, you're all still crying over it. Get over it.
Rams starting wide receiver Danny Amendola did not practice most of the week and is considered doubtful to play. Look for Chris Givens to get the start if he can't go.
Viking wide receiver Percy Harvin has been ruled out of today's game, and that's frustrating for me. I traded a great player for him, and I'm getting nothing.
And Mohamed Sanu, that wide receiver who got all those touchdowns what was it, last week or the week before from the Bengals, suffers a stress fracture in his foot, causing him to miss the rest of the season.
Okay, we do have to agree that we will never play this song again. My God.
That's fine.
All right. Well, that's the injury report brought to you by the FantasyPlayerExchange.com, the only place to go for multi-sport daily fantasy. Sign up right now and play against our very own Henry Brick in the Beat the Commish game. Every new account gets a $10 credit, and it's only $2 to play each week. And if you beat the commish by the largest margin, you collect $50. And at the end of the season, whoever beats him by the biggest margin gets $1,000. Sign up today. It's not too late. You can still get in at FantasyPlayerExchange.com. Commish, how'd you do last week?
Same result. I got crushed again last week, but like everyone else who liked Ronnie Hillman, I started him and got burned. Had I put any other player in the NFL, including a tackle, I would have won. This week I do have a whole new strategy. I will be discussing it tonight at the pick at the big bonfire event. So come on out, see us.
So we're not going with using the professor's reaches as the strategy. That seems to be some great picks there. So.
Well, and I just have to say, so you'll be discussing your strategy, so you'll be telling everyone what not to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So go out, listen to what he says, and pick other players.
I had 4 out of 5 guys right on. Because Ronnie Hillman, he had 1 carry, 1 yard. Love that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, well, the challenge has been issued. When we come back, we're going to keep the phone lines going, and we're going to start taking your last-minute lineup questions. Give us a call, 609-573-ESPN. You're listening to the Piccalillian Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show here on 97.3 ESPN.
Now is your chance to experience the new game that's transforming fantasy sports. Fantasy Player Exchange is a new daily game that allows you to compete against friends and fantasy foes for cash prizes. With FPX, you can select 5 players from any active sport. Sign up now at FantasyPlayerExchange.com for your chance to beat ESPN Radio's Henry the Commish Brick and win $1,000 cash. Go to FantasyPlayerExchange.com to sign up and play today. Remember, that's FantasyPlayerExchange.com.
Fantasy football owners, it's draft time, and KickassFantasyFootball.com makes it easy.
How do we make it easy?
Projections from the experts, cheat sheets with your scoring rules.
What else?
Articles all season long, waiver wire picks, trade advice, everything you need to win a championship.
How about a free judgment from FantasyJudgment.com, a $15 value?
Now we're talking.
Subscribe today for just $9.95, and we'll throw in a complimentary cruise for 2 to the Bahamas.
Cruise to a championship with KickassFantasyFootball.com.
Don't let your fantasy issues become a reality. Fantasy Judgment is the premier dispute resolution service for all fantasy sports leagues. Led by attorney Michael Stein, the Supreme Court of Fantasy Judgment will resolve any and all issues or conflicts that arise in fantasy leagues. This includes disputed trades, collusion, abuse of power by league commissioners, lineup and roster errors, draft issues, score discrepancies, and interpretation of league rules. We alleviate the burden for league commissioners and allow everyone to focus on winning their leagues rather than arguing over disputes. Visit www.fantasyjudgment.com.
We're famous for a buffalo wing. The Piccalilli. When it comes to cooking wings, we're the king. The Piccalilli. Pull up a chair, grab a table, enjoy the atmosphere. Have something good to eat or have yourself around here. If you can't stop in, stop back. Great food, great drinks where everybody is a friend. If you can't stop in, stop back. The Piccalilli Inn.
It isn't fall without the famous Piccalilli Inn. Catch all of your favorite football action at the Piccalilli Inn. Check out the Pick's brand new menu featuring homemade buffalo chicken egg rolls, buffalo shrimp, scallops, and the tender Pick Burger. They go great with one of the Pick's ice-cold on-tap beers. Catch every football game at the Pick. Enjoy an awesome meal while you watch your favorite team. The Piccalilli Inn, a Jersey tradition since the 1920s. On Route 206 in Chemong. If you can't stop in, stop back.
The Piccalilli Inn.
Fantasy Football, the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. here on 97.3 ESPN. Join the professor, the commish, and fantasy insider Matt Lowry for the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Got a question? Call us. Who should you start? Who should you trade? Who's great? And who just plain sucks? The Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. On the web at kickassfantasyfootball.com. Yeah, kickassfantasyfootball.com. And every Sunday at 9 a.m.
I felt that one way up here.
Right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Piccalilli and Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. I'm your host, Fantasy Insider Matt Lowry, and alongside me are the Commission, the Professor. And I want to remind everyone, hey, check out our website, kickassfantasyfootball.com. You can sign up today using promo code FANTASY, get 50% off of our regular subscription rates. We're going to open up the phone lines. Again, that number, 609-573-ESPN. That's 609-573-3776 to help you with any of your last-minute lineup questions. In fact, let's go to the phones now. We got John from Mays Landing on the phone. John, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys, how you doing? Question, non-PPR league, I got my running backs are Steven Jackson, Reggie Bush, Michael Bush, and Forte. I can start two. I thought Forte was going to be out this week.
Yeah, it looks like that injury was not as significant as we thought, so that's good news. And this thing is, non-PPR, you know, he loves to catch that ball out of the backfield, runs between the 20s. So you got Steven Jackson, Reggie Bush, Forte, and what was the fourth one?
He's got Forte, a lot of Bush, and Steven Jackson. So.
Michael Bush?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you need two of these guys, right?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I do like Forte of those four as the first option, and I think Steven Jackson in a PPR league, I don't really love.
No, non-PPR.
I mean, in a non-PPR, yeah. I don't love Reggie Bush in a non-PPR. So those would be my choices.
Yeah, you know what? I agree. Forte, especially, looks like he's going to go. Steven Jackson are your two guys. Reggie Bush has just not been exciting even to watch lately, and he's definitely been splitting the carry. So I think they're your two best options.
Well, John, let me ask you this: Are you winning this game, or are you losing this game? You need a home run, or you need a single? You need to get on base.
I'm okay. I'm in third place in this league.
Okay.
And then I have a PPR league, which I have. I was going with either Justin Blackman or Hartline as a flex.
Ooh, that's a good option. A good pair of choices. I like Justin Blackman, actually, of those two.
Yeah.
I like Hartline a lot, but I think that Blackman's got a lot of upside. And what I was talking about with the previous one, if you do need upside, you have to remember Reggie Bush is facing the New England defense. They can get beat, but Jackson's a safer play. So that's why I'm going with Jackson and Forte. But if you need a home run, Reggie Bush is a better home run choice.
Yeah, and Blackman's definitely been a little bit more on it right now than Hartline lately. And, Henny's been on fire. Buffalo could be passed on. Blackman definitely the play.
All right.
Okay, one more. Can I ask you one more?
Sure.
Yeah.
Freeman or Kaepernick?
I'm sorry, who was it, Kaepernick or who?
Freeman.
Oh, you got to go Kaepernick, man. He's the second coming of RG3.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, man. Good luck.
And I'm liking this. You guys in agreement? I mean, yeah. Little happy feeling there going on, or a little.
You know, you get a happy song at the beginning of the show, like a little respect, and everybody's in a good mood. You play let the bodies hit the floor. Everybody's a little grumpy.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, let's go back to the phone lines. We got Ron from Ventnor on the phone. Ron, welcome to the show.
Yeah, hi. How are you guys?
Hey, how you doing, Ron?
My call.
No problem.
Listen, I can play 3 running backs, and I got 4, and I'm stuck with. I picked up this running back from the Eagles, this Bryce guy.
Yeah.
Right.
And I have him, and I have DeMarco
Murray.
Right.
I don't know which one of those two I should put in there. The other 2 guys I know I'm going to play. One's Gore and one's CJ. So I'm going to play those 2 guys for sure, but the third one is a toss-up.
Well, you know what? Murray is healthy. Looks like he may get into that game today, but Bryce Brown lit the world on fire last week, and it's not like Dallas's run defense is any great shake. So I'm going to take Brown over Murray.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Murray gets in, he's still going to split some time with Felix Jones. I don't know that he goes full bore. So based on that, I'm going to go Bryce Brown. If Murray was all 100%, it would be no-brainer Murray, but I think you got to go Brown. Yep.
Okay, well, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
You got it, Ron.
Thanks a lot, Ron.
Good luck, man.
All right, and let's go back to the phone lines. We got Eugene, our Bacon Man.
Yeah, Eugene.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How you doing, buddy?
I tell you what, Eugene, you knocked something off of my bucket list. I was mentioned in a rap with your poetry last week, so I officially have that under my belt now.
That's great.
Brandon Davis 0, Antonio Gates 2.9. Is it the weather? I'm feeling like Andy Reid.
That's great.
Yeah, you know, it's a shame about Vernon Davis last week because he is a good play. Kaepernick was on and finding other players, other receivers. So I'd still say that Davis is a good play to start and over Gates, but just a bad week. It even happens to Matt Ryan once in a while. 5 interceptions,
especially after the comments after the game. I think they're going to be a little more focused on getting Davis the ball.
Yeah, you know, Ryan threw those 5 interceptions. You know what that's called in football terms? It's called a delome.
That's great.
Okay, running backs. You think Marino or should I slide in that Shane Vereen for New England?
Marino all the way, man. I mean, a surprise out of the backfield. Everyone thought Hillman. Marino is obviously a better pass blocker and will be the main guy, the main focus. You got to go with him. Where Vereen, you got to deal with all the other running backs in Belichick. So I think Marino's a safer way to go.
Yeah, Vereen's a stretch play if you absolutely needed him, but if you got Marino, you get him in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right, Eugene. Thanks a lot for the call. All right, and I want to remind everyone again, you can come out and talk fantasy football. We will be out at the Piccalillion on Route 206 in Chemung, New Jersey tonight for the Sunday night game. They got, how big is that screen again?
30-foot screen, man.
30-foot screen. They got a big giant bonfire out there. We're going to be out there eating some wings, drinking some ice-cold beer, staying warm by the fire, and watching the big Dallas game tonight.
Yeah. The big Dallas game.
You like that, Matt? I'm just... All right. So, now it is time for my favorite part of the show. It is time for Dude, I'm Sorry. This is what we tell you who we messed up with last week. Professor, who you sorry for?
You know what? I had a really good week last week. All I got is Drew Brees was my dud of the week. He had a sub 300-yard game. He had a pair of pick sixes, but it was still enough to be a top 10 quarterback. I guess he's not a dud. So for that dude, I'm sorry.
Did you feed them after midnight?
Don't ever feed him after midnight.
Nice.
So you're basically saying you had nothing. Nothing wrong.
I had an awesome week last week.
I got to start taking better notes. So
Yeah.
fact
We need
check.
to listen to that
You have
playback.
the email.
Yes, I got to fact check this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Kamish, who you sorry for?
Man, I'm really sorry about telling our listeners to start Larod Stevens Howling last week. He had 1 carry, 1 yard. It was the return of Beanie Wells, who had 17 carries, 2 touchdowns. For that, dude, I'm sorry.
I've listened to his miserable excuses for 10 years, the loser.
Maybe I'll put him in my spin dryer on high heat.
You know, Beanie Wells. I'm gonna jump ahead of the script here a little bit. Beanie Wells, my reach of the week last week, one of my many good plays, and certainly one where we conflicted, where the Commish went with LaRod Stevens-Howling, and I went with Beanie Wells. He was the reach of the week. He was on the trash heap in a lot of leagues. It was a gutsy call. He reeled in a top 10 performance at running back. That is 3 weeks of waiver wire starters that I have pulled and given people as the reach of the week.
And how sore is your arm from patting yourself on the
what
back?
the heck, man?
My T-shirt says the awesome meter never lies.
Well, and I have to say, not only did he say he was perfect, he then wanted to point out how he told you were wrong.
I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
All right. Well, enough feeling sorry about you.
Well, no, we still got one more. I'm the man out of the commish here. I jumped.
Right. I got where you are.
Okay.
All right. So it's time to stop feeling sorry for ourselves and to say. Well, and you didn't feel sorry for yourself at all. So we're just skipping
I don't have
you.
self-esteem
So,
issues.
Commish,
It's like,
this is
dude,
just for you.
I'm like lukewarm about it. It should be.
All right.
Okay.
Well, for you only, Commish. Who did you slam dunk?
I'll tell you what, I did get 2 out of 3 with my must-starts at running back correct. I was all over the law firm and Doug Martin last week, who combined for over 300 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Yes, I'm the man.
With Mogwai comes much responsibility. You teach him to watch television.
It's a return to the 80s. We got the Gremlins going and your song. Hey, although, Commish, come on, man. You need to give yourself more credit than that. You also said last week, not to start Charlie Batch.
That's exactly right. Thank you very much.
You hit that one out of the park.
Thank you very much.
Full props there.
Thank you.
To hear, one has only to listen.
There you go. All right.
I just don't like, touting and.
Is he your dad of the week this week as well?
Oh, come on! If you hit 20 for 20 last week, you'd be all over it like white on rice.
Probably yes.
All right. Well, great stuff, guys. Now it is time to get into our Piccalilli picks of the week. Hey, these are guys a little farther down the list that can help you win this week if you need some help with some injuries or what have you, such as. If you had Roethlisberger and you don't want to listen, or you want to listen to the commission, not play Charlie Batch, we can help you out there. Commish, who do you got at quarterback?
You got to go Colin Kaepernick versus the Rams. He can run and pass it well, and the Rams defense should allow plenty of fantasy points for him today.
Okay, Ryan Fitzpatrick. You need a Ben Roethlisberger replacement. He's got a good matchup this week. If you're starting him or have him in your quarterback rotation and you're still in the playoff contention, congratulations, and roll the dice. He's not too bad.
All right, you got Eli Manning versus Washington. Well, after last week's performance, I think it's fair to say his tired arm has woken up. Today, he should find continued success versus this really bad Washington secondary.
Tired arm. I love that.
yeah.
Well, yikes. The on-fire Peyton Manning faces the worst pass defense in the NL, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in the thin mile-high air. Peyton should have no problem. He should have to play this game with an eye patch to mess up his depth perception to make it even.
How about Andy Dalton versus the Chargers? He found the new red zone threat in Sanu last week. Of course, he's out with a broken foot. I think he continues putting up great numbers today and the rest of the way. So look for Hawkins to get back in there with A.J. Green, of course.
And Matt Stafford has come back to life. A little too late to save a lot of the seasons that he killed, but he's got a good matchup. Everything's clicking. He's a decent play.
All
right, good stuff there. What do you got, Commish?
Let's move on to the tight ends. I got Jermaine Gresham. Dalton loves him and has developed. They developed into a nice little pair, a little duo there. So must start every week now. I think rest of the way with Gresham.
Aaron Hernandez. Meet the Dolphins defense. Everyone else, be happy you kept Hernandez on your bench through his injury. It's time for it to pay off for your fantasy playoffs.
All right, but Mercedes Lewis versus the Bills. He has some great chemistry with Henny. I think he finds success today in the end zone for Jacksonville.
Okay, Vernon Davis has been solid all year except last week. Everyone in the Niners offense gets an improvement to their upside with Kaepernick in the game. I think Vernon Davis bounces back.
Is it Kaepernick or Kaepernick? Anyway, thank you. Dallas Clark versus the Broncos. Denver gives up the 5th most points to the tight end. He has been very involved in the offense the last 5 weeks. Love Clark today.
Okay, Kick-Ass fans, I am helping you win a championship here. The Jets are out there on your waiver wire in over half of the leagues. They get the Cardinals this week, which is huge. Then for the playoffs, they get the Jaguars, Titans, and Chargers. Go get them if they're out there on your waiver wire.
Way to stick with tight ends there. Good job.
Yeah, he really follows the script well.
And we know we're playing the theme song to the Gremlins.
Is that what this is?
Well, this is just an 80s throwback week. But I do have to say, if you remember that movie, the most messed up thing, and it's something we're playing it around Christmas time, was not the Gremlins. It was her story about how Dad dies coming down the chimney in the Santa Claus suit, and they smelled him like we. Yeah. I'm like, how in the world? And that was a kids' movie, if you remember.
Yeah.
How messed up was that?
And they made Flo from Alice into a villain in that movie.
Oh, yeah, that's
very
right.
striking.
Yeah. All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to keep the Piccalilli picks going. We still got wide receivers and running backs to talk about, and we still have our studs, duds, and sleepers. You're listening to the Piccalilli Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show here on 97.3 ESPN.
Famous for a buffalo wing. The Piccalilli. When it comes to cooking wings, we're the king. The Piccalilli. Pull up a chair, grab a table, enjoy the atmosphere. Have something good to eat or have yourself a round of cheer. If you can't stop in, stop back. Great food, great drinks where everybody is a friend. If you can't stop in, stop back. The Piccalilli.
It isn't fall without the famous Piccalilli Inn. Catch all of your favorite football action at the Piccalilli Inn. Check out the Pick's brand new menu featuring homemade buffalo chicken egg rolls, buffalo shrimp, scallops, and the tender Pick Burger. They go great with one of the Pick's ice-cold on-tap beers. Catch every football game at the Pick. Enjoy an awesome meal while you watch your favorite team. The Piccalilli Inn, a Jersey tradition since the 1920s. On Route 206 in Chemong. If you can't stop in, stop back.
The Piccalilli Inn.
Don't let your fantasy issues become a reality. Fantasy Judgment is the premier dispute resolution service for all fantasy sports leagues. Led by attorney Michael Stein, the Supreme Court of Fantasy Judgment will resolve any and all issues or conflicts that arise in fantasy leagues. This includes disputed trades, collusion, abuse of power by league commissioners, lineup and roster errors, draft issues, score discrepancies, and interpretation of league rules. We alleviate the burden for league commissioners and allow everyone to focus on winning their leagues rather than arguing over disputes. Visit www.fantasyjudgment.com.
Fantasy football owners, it's draft time, and kickassfantasyfootball.com makes it easy.
How do we make it easy?
Projections from the experts, cheat sheets with your scoring rules.
What else?
Articles all season long, waiver wire picks, trade advice, everything you need to win a championship.
How about a free judgment from fantasyjudgment.com, a $15 value?
Now we're talking.
Subscribe today for just $9.95 and we'll throw in a complimentary cruise for two to the Bahamas.
Cruise to a championship with kickassfantasyfootball.com.
Now is your chance to experience the new game that's transforming fantasy sports. Fantasy Player Exchange is a new daily game that allows you to compete against friends and fantasy foes for cash prizes. With FPX, you can select 5 players from any active sport. Sign up now at fantasyplayerexchange.com for your chance to beat ESPN Radio's Henry the Commish Brick and win $1,000 cash. Go to fantasyplayerexchange.com to sign up and play today. Remember, that's fantasyplayerexchange.com.
Fantasy football. The Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. here on 97.3 ESPN. Join the Professor, the Commish, and Fantasy Insider Matt Lowry for the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Got a question? Call us. Who should you start? Who should you trade? Who's great? And who just plain sucks? The Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. On the web at kickassfantasyfootball.com. Yeah, kickassfantasyfootball.com. And every Sunday at 9 a.m.
I felt that one way up here.
Right here on 97.3 ESPN.
And welcome back to the Piccalilli Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. I'm Matt Lowry, and alongside Henry, the Commish Brick, and the Professor Steve Wynn. And we're doing what we love, that is talking fantasy football as we are working our way through the Piccalilli Picks of the Week. And a reminder, again, we are going to be out there later tonight for the 8 o'clock game. It's going to be a great time, a 30-foot screen outside, a big giant bonfire going, ice-cold beer.
Cornhole games.
Beanbag game.
That will be the Commish's area. So let's get into our Piccalilli Picks of the Week at wide receiver. Commish, what do you got for us?
I'm going to go Ryan Broyles versus the Colts. He had 12 targets last week. His matchup this week versus the Colts looks juicy today. Great start if you need him.
Juicy today.
Juicy.
Broiled, juicy. It's a food-themed
thank you very much.
there.
Thank you.
T.Y. Hilton has a good matchup this week. He's been on fire in recent weeks. He was a human highlight reel last week. I've watched a lot of game tape on T.Y. Hilton. Much better than the game tape on Paris Hilton.
Nice. That's all good. Mike Williams versus the Denver Broncos. It looks like quarterback Champ Bailey will be on VJack all day, leaving Williams lots of one-on-one opportunities. He's a great start if you need him.
Okay, Hakeem Nicks. Here's a guy whose name I didn't expect to have too many chances to talk about this year. He has disappointed a lot of owners in 2012, but I think that he is poised for a great week this week to close out your regular season, and he'll come on in the playoffs.
How about any Dallas wide receiver playing the Birds tonight? Start all that you have versus them. The Birds are clearly in an evaluation state moving forward.
Commish, I'm supposed to be the bad guy on this show. You don't have to stomp on Eagles fans like that. That's just mean.
I am an Eagles fan. I bleed green, but man.
Start any Cowboy.
It pains me to say that.
Sadly, there's no Eagles receiver that I'm happy to put into this spot to counter that. But Randall Cobb is a great play versus the Vikings. He has been solid all season long. The Vikings can be beat in the secondary.
It's so bad that if you go on the NFL.com site to look at players under Deshaun Jackson, it's not even his picture. It's bad, man. It's bad.
All right, let's move on over to the running backs. What do you got for us, Commish?
How about Trent Richardson versus Oakland? He is my number one start of the week at running back. It's a very bad defense of the Raiders. Plus, bad weather out there could mean huge fantasy numbers for Trent.
Are you trying to reverse jinx my stud running back in our game today, Commish?
No, listen, I call it the way I see it. I think he's going to have a great game. I think that'll probably be the only big numbers you put up today. But
I think I have Tom Brady today. Okay. Frank Gore faces the Rams D, and that's a decent D. The big boost, though, to Gore's game is going to be the absence of Kendall Hunter. He was getting a lot of change-of-pace carries. Gore will get a lot of those carries. Unless he gets injured, he is going to be huge going forward. More touches for him equals more scoring for you.
Yeah, I believe my partner helped one of the members in our league draft Frank Gore.
Yes.
Thanks, partner. Appreciate that.
And used a lot of my draft plan to do it. Double thanks, partner.
And where's he ranked at right now?
Number one.
Number one. And once again, we're not number one.
Right. Well, and I would like to point out how much you argued with me during our draft. If you had just let me draft the team and you just sat there and been the face and been pretty and waved at everyone, we would be winning instead.
Yeah. Do you remember all the nasty looks I gave you for stealing my guys because you knew what my draft plan was?
You know what my fondest memory of that draft is, though? Someone in this room drafted 3 quarterbacks. Anyway,
I have 4 quarterbacks on my roster in our staff league, by the way.
You really?
And
God bless you.
They've fallen apart. I had Russell Wilson, who was a bust, Michael Vick. Just bad.
All right, back on track.
Here we go. Alfred Morris, the Butler versus the Giants. How do you beat an awesome pass rush? Run the ball. The Butler gets it done big time on Monday Night Football.
Okay, other side of that game. I am all about recycling, and I'm doubling down on Ahmad Bradshaw against the Redskins. The Skins D has been scary in a bad way, and the Giants have been scary in a good way in the last week, so I think this is a good matchup.
How about Jamal Charles versus Carolina? If Bryce Brown can put up big numbers against him, so can Charles. Start him.
Okay, and finally, I get to throw a bone to Eagles fans. Bryce Brown is my final pick of the week at running back. If he stinks up the joint, you can tell me in person at the pick tonight.
All right. And, hey, if you got any questions, give us a call. Again, our number, 609-573-ESPN. That's 609-573-3776. But we got one more set of Piccalilli picks to go through. Everett, our favorite bartender from out of the picks, on the line with us.
Everett.
Hey guys, what's happening?
Everett, what's the picks policy on burning my Eagles jerseys in the bonfire?
I think we might be able to make an adjustment for that.
we do have some promotional pictures of Andy Reid and the rest of the coaching staff that we may want to throw into the fire. I have put out my bounty on any Andy Reid walrus mustaches that anybody wants to come in and shave off. So we're going to have fun.
It's got to be tough. I mean, the best part about it is the fact that I'm a Redskins fan. And every year I hear about blah, 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 the Redskins suck, the Redskins this, the Redskins that. And I'm like, listen, I get it for the past decade. And I'm a younger guy. that I still have one more Super Bowl than any Eagles fan does. And I tell them that. But then on top of that, this year, every Eagles fan comes in, and I'm like, listen, I've been there for the past decade.
You feel our pain.
Did you? So you suffer under the burden of Daniel Snyder, which is its own special hell.
I have a 30-year-old dad, Al Davis, running my team.
Right.
That's pretty good.
I like that one. Very good. I like that line. Okay, Everett, who you got at quarterback for us this week?
How about Brandon Whedon against Oakland? I know that Brandon Whedon's had some up weeks, some down weeks, and I think this week against Oakland, it's not exactly the greatest matchup, but I think it's a fairly decent matchup against Oakland.
It is a good matchup. Not going to argue there. It's certainly a better play than Charlie Batch. So no further comment. How about your running back, Everett?
Running back, I also have Jamal Charles. He's about to eclipse the 1,000-yard mark today, I believe.
Nice. Great minds think alike, my friend.
That's a good play. And finally, wide receiver, tight end. Who do you have catching the ball?
Wide receiving, I mean, apparently everybody's on the Giants bandwagon, and there's one receiver that I haven't heard mentioned, and that's Mr. Cruz.
Mr. Cruz.
Nice.
Yeah.
So my
that tired arm is done.
I mean, I'm pulling for him, but the defense really needs some help.
Yeah, nothing like a bye week and some abstinence to take care of that tired arm. So,
oh man,
that's so great.
So, okay, so we're going to be out there for the big bonfire tonight. Everett, what do we got to look forward to, food and drink special wise?
Oh, we have great specials tonight. Always a $1.95 Coors Light, Bud and Bud Light drafts for a Sunday. We also have, during the Eagles game, or any Eagles game, we have the $3 green bottle special. So if anybody happens to be a fan of Yuengling or Heineken Light bottles, you can always get them. Also, during Sundays, it's $2 Bud and Bud Light bottles. If you're into those, we can, it's whatever make you like, or whatever type of beer you like. It seems that we have a special on it today on Sunday.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what you want in
beer,
the
man.
That's it.
Well, I want to remind our listeners, anybody coming out to the pick, that when you get your bottle from Everett, you bring it outside, save an ounce, because we're going to pour it out for the Eagles season. Everett, always great having you on. We will see you tonight. Looking forward to a fun time at the bonfire. I will be there with my little crew, and Henry will be out there. We got a bunch.
All right, sounds good, guys. I'll be looking forward to it.
All right, man.
All right, thanks a lot, Everett. And again, that is at the Piccalilli Inn on Route 206 in Chemung, New Jersey. Short ride from anywhere in our listening area. Check it out. It's 30-foot screen. Great stuff. We'll have a great time out there. Come out and see us. All right, guys, let's go to the phone lines. We got Eric on the phone. Eric, welcome to the show. What do you got for us?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
This guy's been on probably everybody's bench since about week 2. I want to see if you think he's worth putting in finally as maybe a flex, and that would be Greg Jennings.
Wow.
Greg Jennings. So who would you be replacing him with?
Well, I can go four wide, or I can go 3 running back, and it would look like it would be between him and maybe Michael LaShore.
Okay. Well, LaShore's a little banged up, I know. Jennings looks like we'll be on a snap count, and he is at home. So if it was a choice between those two, I'm going Jennings.
I would put Jennings in over LaShore. He's probably looking at a 3-catch, 50-yard kind of day. Nothing dazzling, but he's got some upside. He's got a lot of talent, and frankly, Aaron Rodgers would be happy to have the extra target out there. So it's good all around, and I think he's an interesting play for you.
Definitely, and he's always got that 3-catch, and one of them could go for 70 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah,
He definitely has that potential upside.
And he said he wouldn't play unless he's 100%. So
right.
Yeah, I think he's.
I think Randall Cobb's going to be taking the double team from him too. So
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
There you go.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, good luck there.
Thanks a lot. And let's go back to the phone lines. We got Steve from Galloway on the phone. Steve, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how's it going?
All right,
Steve, how you doing?
All right, so this is for first place in my one league. I got either Kaepernick or Matt Stafford. Who should I start?
Kaepernick.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go Kaepernick here as well. I do like the matchup.
Yeah, great matchup, and the guy's getting it done, running the ball, he's got a great arm. Way to go there, Kaepernick.
All right. Thanks, guys.
You got it.
All right. Good. And look, I don't think you guys have disagreed all show.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's going on?
I know. It must be that 80s throwback music. All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to keep the phone lines going again. You can give us a call, 609-573-ESPN. That's 609-573-3776. Call us if you need any last-minute lineup help. We're also getting into some of our reaches of the week, and we still have our studs, duds, and sleepers to get through. You're listening to the Piccalilli Inn Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show here on 97.3 ESPN.
We're famous for a buffalo wing. The Piccalilli. When it comes to cooking wings, we're the king. The Piccalilli. Pull up a chair, grab a table, enjoy the atmosphere. Have something good to eat or have yourself a round of cheer. If you can't stop in, stop back. Great food, great drinks where everybody is a friend. If you can't stop in, stop back. The Piccalilli Inn.
It isn't fall without the famous Piccalilli Inn. Catch all of your favorite football action at the Piccalilli Inn. Check out the Pick's brand new menu featuring homemade buffalo chicken egg rolls, buffalo shrimp, scallops, and the tender Pick Burger. They go great with one of the Pick's ice-cold on-tap beers. Catch every football game at the Pick. Enjoy an awesome meal while you watch your favorite team. The Piccalilli Inn, a Jersey tradition since the 1920s. On Route 206 in Chemong. If you can't stop in, stop back.
The Piccalilli Inn.
Now is your chance to experience the new game that's transforming fantasy sports. Fantasy Player Exchange is a new daily game that allows you to compete against friends and fantasy foes for cash prizes. With FPX, you can select 5 players from any active sport. Sign up now at fantasyplayerexchange.com for your chance to beat ESPN Radio's Henry the Commish Brick and win $1,000 cash. Go to fantasyplayerexchange.com to sign up and play today. Remember, that's fantasyplayerexchange.com.
Fantasy football owners, it's draft time, and kickassfantasyfootball.com makes it easy.
How do we make it easy?
Projections from the experts, cheat sheets with your scoring rules.
What else?
Articles all season long, waiver wire picks, trade advice, everything you need to win a championship.
How about a free judgment from fantasyjudgment.com, a $15 value?
Now we're talking.
Subscribe today for just $9.95 and we'll throw in a complimentary cruise for 2 to the Bahamas.
Cruise to a championship with kickassfantasyfootball.com.
Don't let your fantasy issues become a reality. Fantasy Judgment is the premier dispute resolution service for all fantasy sports leagues. Led by attorney Michael Stein, the Supreme Court of Fantasy Judgment will resolve any and all issues or conflicts that arise in fantasy leagues. This includes disputed trades, collusion, abuse of power by league commissioners, lineup and roster errors, draft issues, score discrepancies, and interpretation of league rules. We alleviate the burden for league commissioners and allow everyone to focus on winning their leagues rather than arguing over disputes. Visit www.fantasyjudgment.com.
Now is your chance to experience the new game that's transforming fantasy sports. Fantasy Player Exchange is a new daily game that allows you to compete against friends and fantasy foes for cash prizes. With FPX, you can select 5 players from any active sport. Sign up now at fantasyplayerexchange.com for your chance to beat ESPN Radio's Henry the Commish Brick and win $1,000 cash. Go to fantasyplayerexchange.com to sign up and play today. Remember, that's fantasyplayerexchange.com.
Welcome back to the Piccalilli Inn Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Hey, the phone lines are open. If you need any last-minute lineup help from our experts, the number is 609-573-ESPN. That's 609-573-3776. You can also check out our website, kickassfantasyfootball.com, and get all the information you need to help get your lineup set. All right, in fact, guys, let's go back to the phone lines. We got Chris from Manahawkin on the phone. Chris, welcome to the show. What do you got for us?
Hey guys, that's two running backs starting league. I think I'm definitely going Richardson. I believe it's against Oakland. I'm drawing a little bit of a blank. I think it's Oakland.
Yep.
So my choices then would be Doug Martin, who obviously, how do you sit him because he's been so consistent, but last week only 2.6 yards a carry. Or Bradshaw on Monday night against the Redskins.
You know what? Much as I have loved Doug Martin all season long, I think that Bradshaw's matchup is outstanding, and I would play Bradshaw.
Yeah, I think you got to go Bradshaw here, especially with Andre Brown out for the rest of the year with the broken leg. Bradshaw's got an awesome matchup.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't know if that was a little bit dramatic, but that's what I was thinking. One more, guys, if I can. Gronkowski, I lost him with the tight end position. I have Gresham and Rudolph. I know you base it upon matchups week to week, but if you had a guy that you tend to go with week to week, who would you go with?
I really love Gresham this week. I think he's got a great matchup. They lost Sanu, so that's going to add targets to Gresham, and Dalton's looking for him in the end zone. I think he's great start rest of the way, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I was just going to say that if you need somebody to fill in to get you through the playoffs, Gresham is a better play than Rudolph. Rudolph has been fine all season long, but Gresham's got a good matchup. He's got a better situation. I love his upside.
All right.
Great, guys. Thank you.
I tell you, we might make it through the show with you guys agreeing on everything.
I
don't think we've
coming up.
All right. All right. Let's go back to the phone lines. We got Brian from Ocean City on the phone. Brian, welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, guys. How's everybody doing today?
Great, man. Good morning.
All right, I got a dilemma here I need your help with.
You got
Should I start Tom Brady or should I start Peyton Manning?
Wow. Now there's a problem to have.
I'm loving Manning today. Now my partner here has Tom Brady against me, so hard to bench Brady, but Manning's got an incredible matchup. So.
Yeah, and I agree. I do have Brady. I'd rather have Manning today. Manning's matchup is fantastic. Tampa Bay, worst, number 32 in the NFL against the pass, and Manning is going to feast on it. And they're at home too. They're up in Mile High, which is another advantage for them. And much as I like Brady to rack up the points today, I think Manning is a stud.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay's actually a little bit decent against the run. True. And this matchup was built for Manning. I mean, it's going to be pass first all day long. So yeah, got to go Manning.
Well, let's hope so. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, man.
All right. Great stuff there. All right, guys, let's get into our reaches of the week. These are guys that are down on the roster but can help you win. And this week, Kamish, what do you got for us?
How about Jake Lockard versus the Houston Texans? Yes, Houston has a good defense, yet they still give up the 9th most fantasy points to the quarterback. Lockard does have some decent weapons to throw to, so great reach if you need them.
Yeah, better than Charlie Batch. Okay, Chris Givens has been solid in recent weeks. He gets the Niners today. You know what? That's a tough matchup, but without Danny Amendola and a need to throw the ball a lot in this game, I see some seriously high targets. Love him this week.
Okay, Noshan Marino surprised us all last week. I love him this week versus Tampa Bay as a reach. They are tough versus the run, but really bad against running backs who catch the ball out of the backfield. They average about 8 a week, matter of fact. He is the starter, so start him if you need him.
Is this your makeup play for Hillman?
Yeah, absolutely.
You make good?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's not a great week for reaches. There's not a lot of guys who have a fantastic matchup. I am going back to the well for last week's sleeper, Chad Henne. He's got nothing to lose, and if you have nothing to lose this week and you're going for a big game, he's got more upside than a lot of the low-end QB1s.
All right, good stuff there. So there are reaches of the week. Let's roll right into our studs, duds, and sleepers for Week 13. Kamish, who is your stud this week?
I'm going Tom Brady. Love versus Miami. Teams have averaged throwing the ball 40 times a week against them. The matchup is great for Brady.
Okay, you know what? We mentioned I'm starting Brady against you this week. I feel like you are trying some kind of
that's again right?
fancy
that's
reverse jinx or something. He had Richardson, he's got Brady, and he's doing the reverse jinx by taking Bryce Brown as his dud next to unjinx his own team. It is all Mr. Madden Curse over here is playing some juju against me. My stud of the week this week is a guy I traded away early in the season. I am crying about it now. Adrian Peterson, he is still the man. Green Bay's D is not capable of stopping him.
Yeah, we were all scratching our head about that one. Bryce Brown.
And I have to say, he asked me, because the guy you did that is the guy who's number 1 in our league, and I drafted his team, and he was like, what am I missing here? Should I do this? And I was like, yes, now, hit it now, hit it. And
I had
how's that working out for you?
I had 5 top 10 running backs. Peterson and Richardson are the only 2 that have stayed there. The others have all dropped out. So that was the one I should have kept along with Richardson.
All right, who is your dud of the week there, Kamish?
Bryce Brown, as the professor pointed out. Dallas defense is tougher versus the run than the Panthers, and the poor play of Foles. With the poor play of Foles, Dallas will likely stack the box against them.
The Dallas defense is tougher against the run than the Panthers. Matt is tougher against the run.
Easy now.
You may have been enjoying Josh Freeman's recent success in fantasy, but facing the Broncos defensive backs at Mile High after flying across the country, well, the risk is high, and if you have a better option in your quarterback by committee, go with that other option.
How about my sleeper pick, D'Angelo Williams? This is from my partner. He goes up against the Chiefs with Stewart out with a high ankle injury. D'Angelo should actually get the bulk of the carries in case he can be run on.
Okay, Damaris Johnson. I mentioned him way up in the injury report. He is the Eagles' wide receiver. The kid has some gifts on the field. Definition of a sleeper. He is not even supposed to be the starter. That's Avant, but I think that he's going to get a lot of targets. The Eagles are bad. They are bad. But you can get a glimpse of the future here and get a little production, hopefully, if you need it.
Demarius Johnson, he plays in the NFL?
He does. He is an NFL player.
Wow. Okay.
He would have been the number 6 wide receiver for the Eagles coming into the season, and he's probably going to be the starter next week.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's go back to the phone lines. We got Bonnie from Northfield on the phone. Bonnie, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Bonnie.
Good. Just one question: Hilton or LaFell?
That's an easy one for me. I had Hilton as my pick of the week, and Paris Hilton, jokes aside, he is a much better player than Brandon LaFell.
Wow.
What do you think?
Okay. You know what? I'm going to disagree with the professor. I'm waiting to the end of the show. You know what? LaFell showed me something last week. I was at the game versus the Eagles, and I'll tell you what, he looked great. He looked way. They go up against Kansas City on the road. And I think he continues getting the ball, where T.Y. Hilton, remember, still has Reggie Wayne on the other side, and there is Donnie Avery. So, you're one of 3 guys. LaFell is the main guy there. I love LaFell against Chiefs.
Bonnie, do you get points for return touchdowns with your receivers?
No.
Okay, it's a little bit closer in that direction. I still think that T.Y. Hilton's a better play, though. Detroit's defense can't stop him. So you're gonna have to decide, Bonnie, if you want to go with the last week's 20-0 run professor or Hellman, the commish.
Listen, I was at the game. I saw LaFell firsthand, Bonnie. Trust me, LaFell's the way to go.
Oh my goodness, I need this win.
Well, you got to call us back next week and tell us who you went with, and one of them,
which
one
way it worked out.
That's right.
We waited till your call, Bonnie, to disagree.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't even have LaFell in my top 40. I'm gonna throw that out there.
See, that's why you got to go LaFell. He wasn't at the game. You didn't see the guy play, and I'm telling you, the guy's a rock for the Panthers.
Plus, it's against the Eagles, for crying out loud.
Exactly, and guess what? Guess who's worse than the Eagles? The Chiefs. the
Chiefs
Eagles and the Chiefs are battling for who's going to get the number 1 draft
pick. They're playing with a
pick.
heavy heart today.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right, Bonnie. Well, give us a call next week. Let us know how it goes out.
I will.
Okay. And real quick, any way the Eagles win this game tonight?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. There's always a way. It's any given Sunday. They almost pulled it out last week until everything fell apart later in the game. But, it's Dallas. They do tend to get up against Dallas, and there's some hope. But
Maybe Leon Lettle held the ball out again, and something like that. Or
no, I'm wearing black to the bonfire. I have reasonable expectations, but there's always a possibility. Sure.
All right, and then we got just a minute or two left here. We talked about that again. Carolina going up against Kansas City. The bad versus bad. Last week it was the Eagles in Carolina, which was bad versus worse. Who do you think pulls out that game? Can Carolina do it at Kansas City?
You know what? Kansas City is going to be in a real bad emotional state. They had a player take their own life in front of coaches, is the report that I saw. I don't have any confirmation on that.
Scott Pioli and Romeo Cornell. Yeah.
So they're going to be a psychological mess, and that might go towards LaFell performing a little bit better than I've got him projected right now, But really, they're a mess, and Carolina should take the game unless KC does the get everybody together and win one for the grief that they're going through.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for listening to Piccalilli Inn Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. I want to remind everyone again, come out and join us at the Piccalilli Inn tonight at 8 o'clock. We're watching the game on the big 30-foot screen. It'll be a good time. Come out, see us, talk some fantasy football. We'll have a great time. I want to thank the professor, Steve Wynn, and our kick-ass producer, Scott Ewing, and, of course, the commish, Henry Brick. I'm your host, Matt Lowry, and I want to remind everyone...
Fantasy Insider Matt Lowry.
Fantasy Insider Matt, that's right. If you're not playing fantasy football, you're probably spending too much time trying to figure out why there are nuts in fruitcake.
I don't get it.
It's a good question. All right. Thanks a lot, guys.